From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, February 10th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.59 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,225 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $977. Antiwar.com reports Russia has been providing intermittent air support to the Turkish military for weeks in their offensive against the Islamic State-held city of Al-Bab, and officials thought Thursday would be no different when a Russian plane zeroed in on what it thought was the Islamic State-occupied building. It turns out the building was actually full of Turkish soldiers, and the attack killed 3 of them, wounding another 11. Russia was quick to issue condolences for the attack, saying it was a tragic mistake. Both sides have promised a joint investigation into what happened. Turkish forces had reportedly made some big gains in Al-Bab earlier in the day, which was the first time in some time that they'd moved the front lines. This may have been the reason for the incident, as Russian forces may not have been fully aware that the building in question had changed hands. Either way, both Russian and Turkish officials are downplaying the incident, saying it will not impact ongoing cooperation against the Islamic State in northern Syria. Turkey and Russia are also the main brokers of an ongoing ceasefire in Syria, which had led to some peace talks. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal appeals court in San Francisco on Thursday ruled to uphold the nationwide injunction that's blocking President Donald Trump's executive order to close U.S. borders to certain immigrants and refugees worldwide. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals announced its decision late Thursday afternoon, 2 days after it heard arguments on both sides of the issue from government and plaintiffs' attorneys. The court unanimously ruled in favor of the plaintiffs by a vote of 3-0, which allows the restraining order to continue while a federal judge further evaluates the order's legality. The court wrote in its 29-page ruling, "Our decision is guided by 4 questions. Whether the stay applicant had made a strong showing that he is likely to succeed on the merits, whether the applicant will be irreparably injured absent a stay, whether issuance of the stay will substantially injure the parties interested in the proceedings, and where the public interest lies. We conclude that the government has failed to clear each of the first 2 critical steps. We also conclude that the final 2 factors do not militate in favor of a stay. The decision is a major victory for opponents of the ban and a major defeat for the president's administration." Trump was quick to respond to the ruling on Twitter Thursday evening, tweeting, "See you in court. The security of our nation is at stake." The order signed by the president on January 27th temporarily suspends U.S. entry for refugees worldwide and bars U.S. travel for immigrants of 7 predominantly Muslim countries: Iran, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Sudan, Somalia, and Yemen, for 90 days. The Department of Justice argued to the court on Tuesday that the executive action should not be subject to judicial review because the President of the United States has broad legal authority granted by the Constitution and Congress to act in the national interest. The court said in its ruling Thursday, "There is no precedent to support this claimed unreviewability, which runs contrary to the fundamental structure of our constitutional democracy. Within our system, it is the role of the judiciary to interpret the law." Trump and his administration had said repeatedly that the temporary ban is a security action intended to give the government time to assess a permanent travel and visa policy for migrants. The opponents in the case, the states of Washington and Minnesota, have argued that Trump's order is discriminatory towards Muslims and stands to cause irreparable harm to the country, individual states, and to the refugees and immigrants themselves. The court said, "We also note the serious nature of the allegations the states have raised with respect to their religious discrimination claims. We express no view as to the states' other claims." The case is widely expected to end up in the U.S. Supreme Court, which remains at 8 members. It is unclear when Trump's High Court nominee, federal appellate judge Neil Gorsuch, will receive consideration or confirmation by the Senate. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.